Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Bits and Pieces, New York City. Here we aim to introduce you to the lifestyle, customs, and cultures of the immigrant New York community. Please like and share, and we will be back with you shortly.
Every day is a win. You know I try to hold on to the way I do you. Do you? Do you? Do you? Hold on to you. Running around in circles.
All right, we're back. It's Bits and Pieces, New York City. We've got a nice group of gentlemen in the house. Gentlemen, could you introduce yourself to our audience, please? We will start with you, Vicky.
Hi, my name is Vicky Kilawan. I am the president of Richmond Hill Liberty Sports Club.
Danesh?
Hey, Gal. Hey, everyone. I'm Danesh Deonarain. I'm vice president of Liberty Sports Club. Thank you, Nancy, for having us. This is a great podium for us to share what we do in our community, and thank you for creating that opportunity for us, and thanks for having us.
Okay, great. Romeo?
Well, good afternoon, all your viewers. Good afternoon, guys. And again, it's always a pleasure to be on this program with Nancy. He's always covering some different great things about this community and around the world. So I'm very happy to be here and looking forward for a great conversation.
Okay, great. Today we want to discuss cricket as a community activity. Romeo, what has been your experience with cricket in New York? Like, you know,
Well,
and when and how far did it begin?
Oh man, I 25, 30 years ago. I started sponsor. I was playing a little bit. I'm not the best, but I started playing a little bit. Then
Oh, you're a batsman, spin bowler, what?
Opening batsman. I'm like a number 8 batsman. But on a serious note, I got involved because I like to promote the game. I like to bring people together, and I started sponsoring. And it feels good to hang out with the guys, and at the same time you're sponsoring something, and then also you're getting out there. You're bringing people together. And it was good. So 25 years ago, I started doing that. And, right now I'm just taking it easy, of course. But throughout the years, I travel a lot, cricket. I sponsor a lot of cricket. I hang out with the guys, and so on.
Right. Okay. Danesh, how long have you been involved with cricket, and how did it start with cricket in New York?
So cricket in New York, I guess a little bit of background. I've always played cricket. It's probably passed on to me from my dad. So very fond memories of the two of us playing in our backyard or so. But particularly in New York, around 2010, I really got involved in cricket in New York. Prior to that, my dad actually gave me the advice growing up, as with every probably young boy. Now girls also involved in the game back in the West Indies. Right. You all wanted to play for the West Indies. My dad told me, only 11, 12 players are going to make the West Indies team. So make sure you go to college and you graduate, and then you could play as much cricket as you want. So I went to college, I graduated, and I'm playing as much cricket as I want now. So yeah, in 2010, I got involved in cricket, specifically in New York. Prior to that, I lived a little bit in Michigan. I went to school there, and I played a little bit out there. It started off as kind of on a whim. Vic and I met up. There's a longer story there, which we're probably going to get into as we get deeper here. But we met up. We started playing for different clubs, and then we're like, there's a few things we'd like to do as a club or as a team, and we started together where we formed Liberty Cricket Club back in 2010.
Well, I actually have a little clip with you talking about that. So
okay, great.
I'm going to lift a little bit of the weight off of you, and I'm going to play that shortly. Vicky, just quickly tell us how your experience with cricket New York got started.
Yeah, like everyone else in Guyana, I wanted to be a test match cricketer, but I never played cricket. When I came to New York in 2000, 2001, that's when I really had the opportunity to play some cricket, join various clubs in New York, have more free time, and play cricket. And as Danesh said, my relationship and his relationship is a good example of how cricket is a catalyst that brings people together, because apart from cricket, we have nothing in common. We just met on a cricket social media site, and we decided he was moving to New York, and we were like, yo, let's meet up. We want to play cricket together, and it started from there.
We're going to play a little clip. There was an event last weekend sponsored by the Richmond Hill Liberty Cricket Club. We're going to play a little clip with Danesh, and then, you guys going to explain a little more.
2009, I came down. I was living in Michigan back then, and we met up there. Vicky introduced me to a team locally here with Ramdeen Sports Club. I played a few games with them. I think at the time we were all had the common frustration of playing for clubs that were just teams showing up and playing, and there was no bonding and connection and brotherhood. At least we didn't feel it. Maybe they had it. We didn't felt a part of it. And of course, when you meet Vicky, you got to meet Billy, you got to meet Danny, you got to meet the whole crew, right? Yes. You guys know them. Back then, Danny was a Timberland pacer. Had Tim's on running in both pace in the nets. He'll probably pop up here soon. He normally shows up whenever we have one of these occasions. But in any case, we started back in 2009, the season finished. 2010, we started a club. If I knew what I was getting into, I probably wouldn't have, but for those who are wrong and who gets involved in club management, it's quite a bit of headache. But all that said, from a personal standpoint, and I'll get a little bit more. I don't want to bore you guys, but I want to get a little bit more into the club since then, what happened and where we're at. This has been the most fulfilling thing that I've done in my life personally, and that's speaking of career and going through education and getting a master's degree and all that kind of stuff. Definitely, this is the most fulfilling. I go to job interviews, I talk to other people. I talk to people in my organization about what we do in the club, about you guys and your performance and how you guys feel that brotherhood in this club, and it means a lot to myself and to all of us here. So in any case, I want to welcome you guys. As I chip through this, I'll kind of drop a little bit more of the background of how the club got to where it's at. We were talking about it last night. Last time we were here and we were putting together the tent and stuff like that. Matter of fact, the fact of the matter, we spent 3 hours trying to put together a tent, which is not this tent here.
Still didn't finish.
It's still didn't finish. It's parked up in the back here. All thanks to the president. Right, Dilly?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Dilly make sure that the credit goes as the credit is due.
Or blame.
Or blame. In any case, so I while we were talking about our history, and I have all of our jerseys since we started. So it's kind of a little museum now, and we have up there with all the hats. And it's not. Leon reminded me that I missed one, but that's 99% of all of our jerseys that we wore since we started the club. This white one right here was that 2010 year when we started. That was our very first jersey. The league played in white uniform back then.
Okay, Danesh or Vicky, tell our viewers exactly what the event was about, and why you guys found it necessary to do what you did.
Go ahead, Vic. I'll let you.
You.
Yeah, go for it.
Deal do it together. Yeah, that was our annual cricket presentation. It's always good to sit down and have a few moments to reflect on what you did and celebrate the achievements that you have. Always good motivation, especially with the season about to start again. D?
Yeah, the guys, they put out a lot of time and effort during the year, and again, we've built ourselves up over years. There were years where we couldn't afford to or couldn't have enough resources to plan and organize a presentation. The last few years, we've been making it a deliberate effort to ensure that the guys get rewarded and they get acknowledged. So that was our annual presentation. We were scheduled to do it last October. Because of the second wave, we canceled our plans because we went into a little bit of a lockdown again for COVID at the end of last year. But we wanted to make sure that when the time is right, and in a small kind of private gathering, as you saw there, to get the guys out and make sure they're amply rewarded for or acknowledged for their efforts last year.
Okay, could you tell our viewers who may not be, familiar with the club, a little bit about the club, where you play your games, and what league you were playing in last year, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so our club is based in Queens, New York. We play primarily in the Queens, Long Island area, Brooklyn. We play for the New York National Cricket League. That was the league we played in last year. In the past, we participated in the Eastern American Cricket Association. A long-standing league president, Rudy Prasad, there has been very good friends with us. So yeah, primarily that's where we play. We do have one or two tours we try to bring in during the year. We've gone down to Florida, Canada. We used to go down to Maryland every summer. So the guys look forward for those kinds of trips. They're all fun to get the group of guys and head down there, hang out for the weekend, play a few games. But yeah, we're as far as membership is concerned, we're open to any and everyone who's willing to join the club and looking to play some cricket. Depending, again, there's no qualification to get in. So if you're a pro, we'll take you. If you're just starting off or just want to come out and get some exercise, which is probably more on the end that Vic and I are at, we're more than welcoming for anyone that's out there.
Okay, Romeo, a game like cricket, what do you think it can bring to the New York community?
Well, I mean, again, definitely bring camaraderie. You meet new friends like Vicky and Danesh. I mean, you see the way they met is through cricket. So personally, for me, in the business perspective of things, I've done quite a few business deals, transaction because of cricket. You might go in the cricket ground, or you might meet friends that you haven't seen, and they forgot, hey, I didn't know this guy is still in real estate, or I didn't know what kind of business he's in. So things like that, you build bridges, you build so many new friends you start making. And I've got friends from 25 years ago because of cricket. We became friends, we became close friends, and hanging out at each other's house. But in general, I think cricket in New York is something that's going to move forward. Guys like Vicky and Danesh, I think, will do very well promoting this cricket, promoting the game, because in school there's a lot. I think, I'm not sure. Maybe you guys could correct me. I think there's some schools that have cricket in them.
Correct. Yeah, you're right, Romeo. There's a pretty vibrant New York high school cricket league that goes on. I don't think they've started this year, but I think they're going to resume back in May, I think, Vic, if I'm not.
It's the Police Athletic League, and it plays every spring prior to COVID.
The police, and then they have the Mayor's Cup, I think, also. So it's
right.
It from where 25 years ago to now, it's definitely grow and continue growing. I know there's, like, for example, Florida, they have the national stadium there now.
Yep.
Cricket is going far, and I think we continue pushing it like these guys are doing, and then Nancy, you're doing your show promoting cricket. It's going to continue to grow and build something that we dreamed of, and I think the people before us who dreamed of, and hopefully we make it easier for the people beyond us.
Yeah. Romeo, a challenge we have.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have a lot of guys that came from Guyana like us, and we love the cricket and so on. The challenge is to have the youth that was born in New York or born in New York and for them to have the love, showing the game on TV and bringing up through the ranks so they could play. And I think that's where cricket will really flourish in New York, because if you only have guys who are immigrants that comes in and play, eventually it'll die out. But if you have the New York-born cricketers flourish, then you're really doing something good.
Definitely, I think, and if you guys keep on promoting it, and continue in the school, it will definitely get the youths from who was born here, like my son, or any one of us, or our nephews and stuff that was born here, even nieces that that would want to play cricket. So, but we have to continue. I mean, we've been doing this personally for many years, and you guys, I mean, I heard your little speech there. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and
absolutely, yeah.
If you're dedicated to it, you can make changes. It take one person to make change, so you have to continue pushing it. And that's that's a little advice I think we all, in general, the West Indian community or in the cricketing community in general, have to continue pushing it and talk about it and promote it. So kids, as Vicky said, the American kids, the one that's born here, will eventually adapt to the game. They're watching the game. I know a lot, personally, my nephew and my son, they watch the game. They follow the IPL,
right, yeah,
and stuff like that. But to get them out now, that's the next step, is to bring them out to play.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Romeo, as somebody who's very active in the community, as both the realtor and the president of the South Ozone Park Richmond Lions Club, what would you say in terms of the importance? What would you say to the importance of members of the cricketing community being a part of the political process? In terms of helping to elect leaders who may, in time also assist them.
That's very important, because I remember many years ago there are people that come out who are running for offices, and they'll promise cricketers, teams and leagues, they'll promise them the world just to get their support. Yes, as a cricketer or as just a regular person, some people don't like to get involved into politics. But if you're passionate about cricket and you want to see changes, you should support politicians and make demands. If we're gonna throw our hat behind you, and we're gonna give you, whatever amount of votes, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 votes locally, which will make a difference in your election, they have to make sure that they deliver, and they have to, you have to stick with them and push them, and have them on record. So when they get elected, they must deliver. I haven't seen any politician delivered yet for any cricketing field or any cricketing stadium or nothing in New York. I know past borough president Helen Marshall had allocated, I think, $2.5 million for that park at 223rd Street, which nobody plays there. That's completely different leagues of people playing there. But during my time at the community board, I tried, and there's a park here on Lefferts Boulevard, right by the conduit. There's a cricket pitch there, and we pushed for that one, but it's not really utilized that much. But we have to continue holding our elected official accountable for, especially, Richmond Hill, we have Smoky Park. There should be a cricket pitch there, 100%. There's no question about it. We have South Asian, we have West Indian, everyone play cricket, but we don't hold our elected official. Myself or Nancy or just Vicky or Danesh, the four of us cannot do it. We need everybody to be on them, step up and tell them they have to, or else we're not going to vote them in office. The same way we vote them in office, we can vote them out of office. And those are the things, and then locally also with our civic leaders, with different, like the Lions Club or different organization, the guys like you have to put pressure on them, pressure on us. And listen, we will support you. You have to get these things done for us. You have to help us or show us the way. It's not just writing a check and say, here's a donation, but you have to continue pushing. You got to continue pushing. And it could change. If you look around the district, you look around the state or the city, just the city, look around the 5 boroughs. Everywhere, there's a set of people that live, different groups of people, ethnicity, and they get their little things going on. They get their soccer field. You get the baseball field is generic; it's everywhere. They got a football field, lacrosse, but cricket, and the population. We're the second largest population of immigrants in Queens. I don't know if you guys know that. After Puerto Ricans, we're the second largest population in Queens, just in Queens.
Mhm.
So we can hold all our elected officials, from the borough president to state senators to the congressmen to local civic council members. We can step up to them and say, listen, this is what we need. Somebody got to do it because we're voting, we're paying taxes, we're doing everything. But you guys have to push. You guys have to push. And I'm always willing, ready, and able to help.
All right,
Yes.
we're gonna take a short break and then come back to continue. You wanted to say something, Danesh?
No, I 100% agree with Romeo and the representation there that's needed. Politics could be messy and people don't want to get involved in it, but 100%. Grounds, especially the Parks Department, does an incredible job with respect to managing the grounds, but creation of new spaces to play cricket and the population is only growing, and even us as a club, we're growing as a club. We're adding a third team to our roster this year. And, it'll be nice to get another ground, but there are teams out there that don't even have a ground. There are leagues that are struggling for grounds. And there is space out there. It's just that it's not considered for cricket. And I agree with Romeo, what he said there.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing stopping the expansion of cricket in New York is more grounds. Because if you have more grounds, then it'll be more affordable to play.
Absolutely.
Right.
But
Okay.
remember, guys, we can't, they're not going to give us the grounds unless we fight for it.
Push for it. Agreed.
Push.
Yep.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about one of our community leaders that Romeo is supporting for the district, the city council elections. All right, so just a break, and we'll be back shortly. Okay, Romeo, you're presently supporting Ms. Joanne Ariola's bid for the city council seat. Tell us about that. Tell us why you were for this candidate.
Well, like anything else, I do my homework. We do a lot of background. Um, and Joanne has been in the community for a very long time. She was born here. She went to school here. She got married, got kids, got grandkids, and she's always been in the public eye. She's always been involved in civic organization, the precinct, the community board. She worked with elected officials. She worked with the mayor's office on community outreach. So when looking at the other candidates, they don't have that experience. And sometimes people will say, well, why, as you're saying, why are we supporting this person? It doesn't matter what nationality, what party. If the person will do good for our community and take care of our people, I will support that person. And I think any sane person will think the same way. It's not about my friends. It's not about who know who. It's if the candidate fit fit everything that we're looking for in a candidate for our community. It's not. Remember, it's not a personal thing. It's for the community. Because if you're thinking personal, then I would make sure that my friend, if my friend is running, that person I should support. But you have to come to realization that when it comes to your community, you have to keep yourself out of it. It's a bigger picture. I look at it sometimes like the West Indies cricket, because most of the time you sit back and you're looking at the stats of some of these players and they never get selected. And then you're wondering what's going on? How does these selectors think? Because they're selecting guys who, you guys are in cricket, so you know what I'm talking about. But it becomes personal, and that they're doing favors for friends, and they're doing, it's their people, so they have to make sure they select them. But I don't operate like that. If I think you're good for the job, and you're gonna win, and you're gonna take us home, you're gonna get selected, and you're gonna get elected. That's why I always throw my hat. So far I'm 99% on a winning streak, because every time I support a candidate, they win the election. So I'm hoping that she come and she come home, and she do good for our community. Now you asked me a few questions, so she will do good for our community, because, as I said earlier, if we ask, we will get, and we lay her, the support that we have thrown behind her. We told her exactly what we're looking for, what our community needs, the business community especially, and and everybody else in the community. But there's a lot of things that's happening in our community that the regular average person doesn't know, especially the business owner, restaurants, bars, regular stores. They're getting summonses, tickets, things like that. And of course, in other neighborhoods, it's not happening, because the people who get elected are supporting that. So we have to support a candidate that will look out for us. They don't have to look like us, but they have to look out for us, because if we support them and we're giving them our votes, our vote counts. And Joanne has been a very active person in the community. So keep in mind, the 32nd district is not the entire Richmond Hill. It cuts off from Lefferts Boulevard, goes back west. So it goes into like Ozone Park, Howard Beach, South Ozone Park, Woodhaven, a little bit of Jamaica. So it's a big, and into the Rockaways also, even into Far Rockaway, part of Far Rockaway. So the person that's there now, who we have supported in the past, he's been there for 3 terms. He's Council Member Eric Ulrich. He's been a friend to the community. I don't know if you guys know him, Danesh and Vicky. He always supported Pagwa Parade. He always support, every religious, different things that we have, anything that we have, he will support. Not only religious, but he's the one that actually signed off on that cricket pitch on Lefferts Boulevard. But he listened to us. He listened to our needs. And again, he's a Republican. We're in a Democratic county, but he was the person for the job, and he took it home. He took it home. We could pick up the phone. We can call him directly. We have his cell phone number, and that is what you need: the people to interact with their elected official, not you make an appointment a month later. So same thing with Joanne. Joanne has been there. I think we'll be able to work with her. She listened to us, not because she's running for city council, but she's been there. She listened to us. She listens. She know our needs. She know what the West Indian people need, and she's been on community board, which is a very diverse community. Board 10 is very, very diverse. It's made up of the same district that she's running for. So you see all the complaints, the noise complaint and the big parties and the weddings and stuff that we do. Now, you go to the other neighborhoods, people are doing this in their backyard. They're having weddings. They're having parties. But when we do it, we're getting summonses, we're getting tickets. They're shutting down the party. Now, I know we gotta. Sometimes we go crazy, but at the same time, we can have all these things. We can have our backyard weddings and celebration, and without having any issue with the precinct or any building department. But we need the right elected official to understand us, to understand our culture, and that's very important. That's very important, and she's someone that understands us. She understands the culture to a certain point, of course, because she's not Guyanese or Trinidadian or West Indian, but she understands the culture. She eats curry. But getting back to that, I think personally, I think she'll do good. She will again listen to us and hear our complaint. Everything, there's no elected official that will fix everything, but at least if we have a voice in there, and we're always pushing her, she have to respond. She have to do something. She have to react, and that's all we need. We need people in office who will do something for us. So, that's my little thing with her.
Danesh and Vicky, you guys, since like you say 2009, 2010, you've been seriously involved with cricket. What forms of assistance do you think cricket in New York, from what you've seen, needs right now?
I think it's what we touched on earlier. It's really getting the parks department to work with us. That's a really big thing from a political standpoint. We have a lot of baseball fields and stuff here, and if we could share the ground, right? We don't have to use the ground for cricket alone or baseball alone. If we could all coexist, and if the politicians could see that, and we could, have a mixed use grounds, I think that'll be good, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your background is. We just want all the youths to go out there and have fun playing whatever sport you're playing. We have an obesity crisis in America. We try to make sure everyone stays fit and do something positive, right?
Yeah. Want to add something to that, Danesh?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with Vicky's input there. Really, with respect to the usage of the fields, the Parks Department will issue a permit to even cricket or baseball, whatever the case may be, and the ground is sitting there. It's 6 hours in a week, and then the ground's sitting there not being used. Even in the afternoons or so, you could facilitate some cricket matches even there. Now that we're playing shorter version of cricket. So absolutely, the fields and the access to the fields, and not create that confrontational, either us or them kind of thing, but us facilitating us like working together. I think that's definitely a huge opportunity there for politicians to get involved, and opening that up a little bit. I think also beyond that, there are, as a club for us, for example, public assistance to enable programs for youths. Like we have plans of eventually starting like a youth coaching program and something similar. The thing about that is if we don't have private corporate backing for it, or if we don't come out of our own pockets for it, those kinds of things won't happen. If they have programs like that we could access some public funds for, that will enable us to do a whole lot more, a lot faster. We've been talking about an idea like that for our club, and Vicky mentioned getting, U.S.-born players or youths involved. Those are kind of activities that will get them involved. The challenge for us is for us to develop such a program and execute it will require a lot of financial resource from our own selves, knowing that the local community does get involved from a corporate backing standpoint, but there's only so much you're going to get. But those are probably two of the big things that I could think of right now with respect to what a club like us or any other club that's around and cricket in general can use.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now, at the event last weekend, we're gonna go into another bit and piece right now. At the event last weekend, there was, one of the members of the club cooking up a big pot of soup, right? Romeo went last year, had a bowl of soup.
Oh man.
It was some goat head soup.
Manishwata, where we had a nice big pot of Manishwata thanks to Jamaican national player Neve McNally. He took it on his own, and he put up that pot by himself, and he commanded the pot and delivered.
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 Right. You're gonna talk a
flying
little bit about our own experience with that thing called soup. We're gonna take a brief break, and we'll be back shortly. So Vicky, when on occasion you're having a bowl of soup, what kind of soup do you like?
Yeah, it depends on the mood, right? Sometimes you want some good provision in there, and sometimes, well, I don't drink anymore. Back in the days, you just want some liquid, just to bring you back. So it all depends on the mood you're in, but for the most part, it's some good provision,
Some good provision. What about you, Danesh?
I think I agree with Vic there again. It depends on the feeling and the time, but definitely a nice, what is it, Multani or Mulgatani, Guyanese call it. That hits the spot. Jamaicans call it Manishwata. That was what we had at the presentation. I think that's my go-to. But yeah, different kinds for different feelings. I do understand the hangover feeling there too. I can't act like I'm not aware of it. So yeah, definitely a soup is exactly what you need to bring you back from a situation like that too.
Well, you know what the best soup is? The best soup is when everybody just throw everything in the pot and the boys liming out. And you get a few cold ones. No matter how the food tastes, it always tastes a little sweeter.
Always good.
That you're singing my song there, Vic. You're bringing me back to Borbice in Port Moranto, where I'm from, all in one.
Yeah.
That's cook up, but you bring that kind of similar where you just throw everything in the pot and let it boil down. Yeah.
Right. How about you, Romeo? What do you like in a bowl of soup?
I'm not a big soup guy, but I like that the mulgatani. We got a guy who's make a good one for us, but that's it. I mean, the hangover thing is not a big deal for me. I think I
you got a cure. You got a cure for it, Romeo?
Yes.
We need to speak then.
Well, like we all painfully aware of, we're still going through a pandemic, and the South Ozone Park Richmond Hill Lions Club have been helping from time to time, right? Recently, there was a food distribution. So we'll take a short break and have Romeo tell us about that. Hey, Romeo, could you tell us a little bit about that, please?
I mean, okay, so that food distribution, the grocery distribution, during the whole pandemic, we was giving them out, on a weekly basis. So we're back again. We just started last about 2 weeks now. We're doing it every Wednesday and Friday, right by the office, 13501 Lefferts Boulevard. So it's about minimum is 500 boxes of groceries we have. So it varies. So like on Wednesdays we'll have. The boxes will be like potatoes and onions, milk, cheese, yogurt, some kind of meat, and lettuce and all that stuff. On Fridays, it's strictly veggies. It's cabbage, potatoes, onions, celery, cantaloupe, orange, stuff like that. So on Fridays is more vegetarian part, and then the Wednesdays are general. And we didn't plan that. It just happened. So we're not trying to say it's this for one set of people. It's just in general. But it's for everybody. During the pandemic, a lot of people lost their job. A lot of people are still not working. They lost their income, and by us giving this, it doesn't have to be someone that's on the street or somebody that's living in a shelter. It's just this is for everyone. If you don't have to be ashamed. It's there for us. The city is giving us this, and it's there for us. So you could stop by, pick up a box. I mean, I've seen guys driving Mercedes stop by, and we'll give them a box. It doesn't matter. We have it. What are we gonna do? We can't use it. We can't use all of it. Do I take a box? And I'm the first one to say yes, of course. If there's any left, I make sure I get a box. Some week we don't have any left. We make sure we give everyone. But it's good stuff, and I think through the Lions Club, we've been very fortunate to have it. I think this is the first time that we have a grocery giveaway in this part of Queens, especially in this area, Lefferts Boulevard by 135th Avenue. It's more residential, it's more upper class, they would say. And for us to be able to give out that, grocery, it's a good thing. And Nancy, I know you're spreading the word out there, and you guys can also let your teammates or family members, anybody, let them know that we have this and it's for everyone. Personally, again, our people think this is for people that's poor and that can't afford anything. That is not true. It's the same thing you would have to go to the grocery store and buy. The 5-pound bag of potatoes, the onions, the milk, the yogurt, everything. You still have to go and buy it. Here we are giving it to you. Nothing in return. Nobody say nothing. You just get it and you go. So, Nancy, we'll be doing this as long as we can, 2 days a week, Wednesday and Friday. And it's usually in, mid-afternoon, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's been working. I mean, we run out of boxes. People, the last 2 weeks, we haven't got any extra. The first week, I know we got about 700 and it went like this. And after that, we're getting 500 each. But it's, Nancy, remember when we did the first food distribution last year, April, when we was in the height of the pandemic, and we had lines like around the block. So it's just something that we can give back, and I'm happy that our club, the Richmond Hill South Ozone Park Lions Club, is able to do this and give back to the community, and that's what we've been doing pretty much with the club. Anywhere we can help to give back, and especially not only giving back that way, if we can help you guys in any way, to make the connection, to get the grounds or do anything, we're willing to help. We're willing to help. That's
Appreciate it. Yep.
Help.
Romeo, I want to give you and your team kudos for doing what you're doing with the food distribution drive. I know personally a lot of people who are struggling, and I know that if you have food in your belly, it's one less thing you have to worry about, right?
Exactly.
So thank you so much. And if there's anything we could do, we have limited time, but if there's anything we could do over, while you do this, let us know, and we'll try to spread the word and have people go and pick up some supplies there.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Very commendable, Romeo, and thank you again, as Vicky said there, for what you guys are doing for the community.
Thank you very much.
All right. Our closing question. I want to talk about the youths who were born here. I know you started to talk about reaching them, Vicky, in terms of getting them involved in the game. As you take a step back, looking over the years of how quick that's gone, I'm sure you have nephews, family members, kids who may were born here. How do you think we can really reach that generation, the second generation? How can we reach them and really get them involved in things West Indian?
So I think, well, I have a son who's 7 years old, and it's kind of hard to get him involved in cricket. And I think we just don't have the infrastructure there as yet, right? And Danesh kind of touched on it, where I could take my son to play Little League or Pee Wee soccer. I can't take him to play cricket at that young age. There's no infrastructure there for that. And that's, by the time kids are like 10 years old or whatever it is, they already know which sport they want to play for the most part. And sadly, that won't be cricket for many kids, because they will be introduced to cricket when they go to high school. A lot of kids who play cricket in high school are actually learning to play cricket for the first time. Their parents might be pushing them now because there's a program, but to really develop the cricket, you need to get them even younger. And Romeo mentioned having like pitches, maybe just having like a tarmac pitch where they can play wind ball or something. Get them to play what we call, quote unquote, bat and ball cricket, right? That's how we learn cricket. That's how we all learn cricket. You don't learn cricket by going to play organized cricket. You learn by going to play bat and ball and having fun and loving the game.
Street cricket, yeah.
As you love the game, then eventually when you get older, you will join a club and try to, polish off that skill and become a professional, hopefully. And I think that's where we need the politicians, we need corporations, and we need a support from the parents and everyone else that could chip in to make this happen. It can't happen easily. It's a big community effort that's required for this.
How can the community itself help out, Danesh?
I think certainly getting behind these activities when they happen. I agree with what Vic said again there. With the infrastructure is needed there, so there aren't many clubs, or maybe one or two. I know Queens United has a youth academy out in 223rd there. But beyond that, there aren't many clubs that have that facility in place. I know the Mandaires and religious institutions have like day camps, for example, in the summer, right? So you sign up, your young kids, you could drop them off there every day, and they'll have a day camp. They'll learn about religious activities and stuff like that. It'll be great if we could actually set up a summer day camp for cricket for young kids in that target age range, maybe 5 to 10 or so, like Vicky is saying. It's really creating that infrastructure, and then from there onwards, it's spreading the message. And I'm sure that over time, once you put that in place, it will take off. So the community really needs that infrastructure to be in place. And it's something, like we said, we've been giving serious thought to add as a club. Certainly with our home ground being in a central location in Queens there, it bodes well, and it's a perfect location to make something like that happen. But yeah, really just getting it going and getting the backing behind it is really what will get the community involved in there. And then as with anything else, you apply pressure over time, you slowly work on it, it's going to get bigger. So that's really where where the need is there.
Okay, cool.
I
Romeo,
think that
yeah, go ahead.
just to add to that, sorry, one more point. That you asked what we need from the community. We just need from the community to want to push their kid to play cricket. It's like if there is the need and they're pushing it, our club and other clubs could also provide. But we're just not. They're not pushing, and we're not trying to create something because they're not pushing. If they could push and we could facilitate that, then we can meet up somewhere. Maybe it's up to Romeo or someone else to where we could bridge that gap somewhere, right? Someone has to bridge that gap where the clubs could work with the parents, and we could start that.
Okay, great. Your closing thoughts, Romeo?
Well, I think these two young men have great ideas, and they're heading in the right direction. Definitely, you need the parents. You need it's entire everyone. The whole team have to play here. So from the parents and the school, the community leaders, the politicians, everybody got to work together. But I like that idea with that Danesh mentioned with the mandirs and the mosque and stuff like that. The churches they have summer camps, and even schools. Even in general, schools have summer camp that we could take our kids. I remember taking my kids to summer camp, and that is something I think can kickstart something. Maybe these guys can start it. Maybe you guys could start it. Come this summer, set up a summer camp. It doesn't have to be all summer. Maybe a 3-4 weeks camp, and have kids come in and just talk to them, let them hit a couple of bat and ball, as you say.
Right.
Friendly cricket, learn them, teach them the game, show them some stars or stuff, whatever it is, whatever it takes. But I think it's a great idea. You guys should really look into that. And if there's any help and anything I can do, we can reach out and make it happen. I think it's definitely something to think about, because again, if you have if so you're willing to do it, and then we can get kids to come out, and you have to start somewhere. So if this year, it's a pandemic and all that, but people still come out. Let's just say you have 10 kids, and they see what you're doing. You promote it. You have the right guy right here, Nancy. He's been promoting cricket since I know him, and he promoted. We don't know. We might have to hire people next year, summer camp. But it's definitely. I think it's a good idea. You guys should start a summer camp. A few weeks, just work it out. It's 1 day a week or 2 days a week, whatever it is, and work it out. And if there's any help, I'm willing to help you guys in any which way, and then move forward with it. But in general, cricket is something that's not going to go away. It's a national sport. It's the second
most popular. Yeah.
Popular sports in the world. It's just to bridge the gap in the USA. It's very popular in Canada. They play, but it's just us here. We have to again push and continue pushing. I'll tell you something. 25 years ago to now, it's changed. We've seen a lot of difference. So picture this. Now you guys are more active. You have younger people involved now who are active in cricket, and it wouldn't take 25 years. Probably the next 10 years, it's going to go somewhere. So
yeah.
I want to support you guys, and I think you're doing a wonderful job. And Nancy, as always, you're doing a great job, and thank you for having me on this program again to share some thoughts, bits and pieces. I love that, bits and pieces. It's a good catchphrase there.
Okay.
So again,
thank you, Romeo.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Vicky. Thank you, Danesh, for taking the time out to join us, sharing your thoughts, your experiences with our viewers. Thank you, viewers who stayed with us, those who commented, and do join us next week for another Queen's edition of Bits and Pieces. Thank you, gentlemen. We're out.
Thank you.
Every day is a win. I try to hold on to the way I do you.